Okay, my name is Zach Cashero. I'm 34 years old. I work in online marketing, entrepreneurship, and I'm from the United States. Um, when approached with this theme, it was very clear to me what I would be talking about. My pain is the death of my nephew. Um, and like anything like this, a lot has to do with the context and what led up to it and the aftermath, and it's that makes it painful. Um, it was about 3 years ago, on April 11th, 2015, that he passed away. Uh, his name is Caleb Newland, and he passed away that day due to an overdose of an opioid pain medication, something that he probably found from some kid at school, as he was also certainly in some type of pain. And this struck our family, everybody in our family, pretty hard. My sister, especially, she's my older sister. She had Caleb when she was very young. She was 17 years old. And so Caleb sort of grew up in our family as the baby of the family. I was 14 years old when Caleb was born. And she was living in the house, in my parents' house, when he was born, and for the first few years of his life, and always very close to the family. So I saw him grow up from a little baby up to 17 years old is how old he was when he passed away, just a couple of weeks after his birthday. And so my sister, that was sort of one of the big things that changed her life. It sort of, as she always explained it, he was the reason that she kind of changed her life, got on a straighter track, and he was a huge part of her life. And it hit us all, but of course my sister was torn apart by all of this, and so all of those dynamics within the family was a lot of pain, a lot to deal with. And one really difficult part also is that since his father, Caleb's father, was separate from my sister, he would go and live between the two different houses, shared custody, but he had a big fight with my sister about a year before he passed away. And during that whole last year, he pretty much didn't talk to my sister at all. He never talked to his mother. He still came around and saw all of our side of the family and my parents and my other sister. But he essentially was still in this fight with my sister, and so she didn't really get to know him for his last year. He was living with his father, and so he was living with his father and in difficult times, and was going through spouts of depression. And that's where at some point he got some pills from some other kid at school, and had an accidental overdose and passed away. And I was living in Costa Rica at the time, and so I was far away from the family, which was obviously really difficult. I got the phone call from my sister on that day, and I remember, the news just hit me so hard, and we just spent an hour crying on the phone together. And later that day, I bought my plane tickets. I got back home in a couple days after that. And that whole week we spent planning the funeral was just one of the most emotional times in my life. I mean, we were sifting through photos, planning music. Me and my brother-in-law at that time, you know, we planned the soundtrack, so I have a strong connection to all of the songs that we picked out for that. We put a lot of time into that, and every time I hear songs now that are on that, they always remind me of him. But yeah, we were basically all together as a family, looking through all of his old stuff, old photos, planning everything out, trying to make the funeral the best memorial that we could. And we were basically at my sister's house. We didn't really leave the house. Everybody was there all week long. Nobody went to work. Friends and family were constantly streaming through. Friends were making food for us. Everybody was just helping out so much. And we just tried to give him the best memorial, remembering that we could for that funeral. That's the best that we could do at that time. And as I said, my sister is torn up. She still is, but you know, the first year, 2 years were the worst for her. She's doing much better now. But I had a very strong relationship with Caleb as well. You know, I was his uncle, but being so young when he was born, I was sort of like a male role model, a positive role model in his life, and he always looked up to me a lot. And he would grow his hair out longer because I had hair even longer than this, and he would grow it out longer and to be like his Uncle Zach. And he always looked up to me and was curious about all my travels and everything I was doing. And he was a very, very, very intelligent kid. He was way tested out of everything that he had in the subjects and everything. He was very intelligent, and that's sometimes why he didn't fit in as well, unfortunately. But we would, you know, he was 16, 17 years old, and we were having conversations about world politics and different societies, and he was especially an animal lover, so he always knew about all these strange animals in the Amazon and different parts of the world, and he loved to tell me about those. And I was because since I was living abroad in Costa Rica, I was very, very lucky to be able to see him just a month before he passed away, as he came down with my parents and my other sister, and he came down to Costa Rica. It was his first travel and trip abroad, something that we had been talking about and trying to do for a long time, and I'm just so grateful that he was able to come down and have that trip, and I could at least share that with him. And we had that week there, and I got to show him around and show him the beaches and all the wildlife in Costa Rica, the monkeys. We went snorkeling, and I could point out the fish to him, and it was really amazing. It was really something special. And yeah, that was what I was hoping to be, just the beginning of a long life of showing him many things of the world. But yeah, just a month after that is when he passed away. So it was really a big shock. I guess to try to wrap it up, you know, of course, everybody says it's a transformational experience, no matter what, for the good or the bad. My life is never going to be the same after this. But I certainly did grow closer with my family. I feel like I've been able to value certain parts of life better, and even with certain strangers that have gone through similar experiences, there's this shared connection. And there's definitely something about shared pain that does bring people together. Um, and I actually just last night I was listening to a song, and it popped up in my mind about this. And there's this lyric that every silver lining's got a touch of gray. And I don't know if there's this phrase in Spanish, a similar phrase, but always looking for the silver lining is like always searching for the good in the middle of a bad situation. But this lyric takes that phrase and sort of turns it around, and every silver lining's got a touch of gray. I take it as, you know, there certainly was some good things to take from it, but the fact remains, the situation, you know, he's gone, and if I could have him back, you know, I'd much rather have it that way. But that's the touch of gray in the silver lining.